What's going on, Midlothian? We're live, the Cement City Chatter podcast, coming to you as always, live and direct from the Opoka Palace. To my right, Mr. John Opoka. What's going on, buddy?
Well, not a lot, and we missed you.
It's been a minute.
I feel like
I literally feel like I've not been here in years.
You haven't. You've been a world traveler.
So, because of that, sitting in front of me is the one, the only, Midlothian's most beautiful. I'm rusty, guys. Today I'll have to figure it out. Mr. Tim Wilkins, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Rob, we did miss you. I tell you what, especially the intro. You know what? Tiffany doing the intros is just not the same. I don't care what you say.
I kind of liked it. I figured I was fired.
I think it's cute. Hi, welcome to the Tiffany Show.
She
Yeah,
does. She likes that.
We all adore Tiffany, but
we do.
But it's no Rob intro.
She brings balance to the table.
And to my left,
she brings balance to the dark side.
And to my left, you guys will recognize
our special guest,
the OG of Midlothian City Council, Mr. Wayne Sibley. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Rob.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Man, well, here we are again in the midst of a runoff.
Wow, yep. We thought we'd have one shot at this, and we've gotten Wayne on here twice.
So as you know, you were on the show originally. Yeah. Actually, you were probably the second of the candidates that came on the show. Second or third. You were early on, before. And so we went through all you guys that were running for city council and school board. Mm-hmm. Had a couple podcasts, about the bonds that were up for election. And man, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had probably, 10, 12 podcasts with guests that were running for office.
12 different episodes, yeah.
Several weeks, and we covered it all and figured that was about it, and here we are with the runoff.
That's what I thought.
But your race was the only one that had 3 candidates, and that happens sometime. So,
well, so the election day came and went. Our fact checker will step in and correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Sibley got the most votes.
Yep.
But it wasn't 51%. So, as everybody should know, we go to a runoff. And, it's a little dismaying. Most of the people that I talk to and hear from don't know that there's another election going on. Yeah. And, you talk to them and they missed the first one. They didn't know it happened and they don't know there's a runoff, or the people that voted are saying, what, I have to vote again. Or you got people who unfortunately don't understand the process, which there's a lot that goes on. So people don't realize that they have to vote again to have their vote counted for this runoff election.
Right.
Just because you voted for Mr. Sibley the first time doesn't mean that that vote carries over. So
right, you actually physically have to come back out and cast your vote again.
Yeah, I was amazed at some folks. I see that they pulled their signs up. Now, I said, what do you do with your signs? He said, well, we're through with them. I said, no, we're not through with them. He said, well, you won the election. What are you going to do with them? I said, no, I didn't win.
They think,
but I didn't lose either.
Right, yeah. They think because they saw you with the largest percentage.
Yeah. Right.
So you've been in this 17 years, like you just said before. This is 20.
Yeah.
Go for 20 years in the council. So this surely isn't your first runoff, or is it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now you have this will be your 7th term. Is that correct? If you're elected?
Yes, 7.
Is that what it is?
It's 7.
Okay.
Because it would be 21 years.
Okay.
Now, when you finish this, should you finish this term? Yeah.
Right. So you had run for the same place several times, and then at some point were defeated.
Yes, and I think it was 2010. The third time I ran. The previous years we had annexed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they basically threatened us with their lives for it.
Sure.
And they said they were going to take over the council and abolish it and fire all the city staff, and then de-annex themselves. Well,
Oh, wow.
I
That
got,
worked out,
I got
didn't it?
beat in that election
Yeah,
by 7 votes.
By 7.
Yeah,
By
7
7
votes.
Yeah. So for all those people that say their vote doesn't count,
Yeah.
7 votes.
Well, actually, it counts more in a runoff than it does
Yes.
even in the original election, if you want to look at it that way.
So I've been out at the polls several days over the cycle of the early voting, which is over now. The only voting day we have left is this Saturday. I believe it's 8 to 8. It's either 7 to 7 or 8 to 8.
7 to 7.
It's 7 to 7? Okay. All right. So this Saturday is election day. The early voting is over, and I don't think we hit 500 people. It was...
Yeah, they may got 6.
Did we hit 6?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I had not gotten the update after Tuesday.
My daughter got the update.
Okay,
I
good,
think
good.
it's 602, something like that. It's
Okay, so we did break 600. That was I wasn't sure we were going to, because we went into Monday or Tuesday with like 398 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't very hopeful. But we have one day of voting left. Whoever's listening to this show, if you're living in Midlothian city limits, you have one last chance to vote for Wayne Sibley or Alan Moorman, and that's the way they appear on the ballot as well.
Yeah, McKeever, he pretty much split the vote. So that was the reason why we're in a runoff right now.
Yeah. So, a lot of people say, well, what's going to happen with his voters? Who will they vote for? Well, and the interesting thing is they may not vote. We have trouble getting people out to vote for any of the elections, much less the runoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see the way it goes. Now, a lot of times, in the past, let's say when Hud Hartson was elected, he got the most votes and went into a runoff with Tiffany Cara, and that was actually when during the runoff. That's how that landed as well. He got more votes than Tiffany Cara. On the other hand, when Art Perard ran against Ted Miller and Joseph Rohr, Ted got the most votes during the election, and during the runoff, Art, it was actually a landslide.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. It's gonna probably come down to who comes out to vote.
Yeah, I think so.
Lots of people support Wayne, lots of people support Alan, but not all of them go down and register their vote. So
yeah, I talk to people. I just tell people go vote. Of course, I want them to vote for me, but
sure,
go vote. Period.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed at the voting we've got.
Yeah.
So
last year, only got 3,000 people voted last year.
So, which brings me to a question, and I may just use this time just to talk to you also and ask questions about our city that you know better than anybody because of how long you served and how long you've been here. So, going back 15 years, obviously the population of our town wasn't
Right.
as large as it is today. Would you say that when we were smaller, we had a better percentage of the townspeople that would come out to vote in these elections, or has it always been hard?
It's always been hard getting voters out. It always has been. I think about talking about the population. When I got married and we moved to Arlington, the population of Midlothian was 1,050 people. We came back to Midlothian in 20 years, and the population's already shot all the way up to 2,000.
Oof, double.
20 years for 850 people.
So when you ran for office the first time, do you have any recollection of what our population might have been?
Well, apparently both people voted for him. So
I think I'm not
But just
sure
a
this year.
general.
I think I won with just over 200 votes.
yeah.
Total for you.
It was total,
I mean,
yeah. I was going to say, so when I moved to Midlothian in, I think, 2016, I knew Joe Frizzell from
Yeah.
knowing his son. I used to volunteer with the police department, so I had met him and knew he was down here, and we had some common friends. And I was talking to Joe, and I started looking into, I don't want to say the politics of the town, but I did start looking into what's involved in what a city council does and that sort of thing. And I saw over the previous years, say since 2010, we had a canceled election because only one person ran for a position, and so they just canceled the election and gave it to that person. I mean, it makes sense if it's just going to go one way. Why do you want to, have that expense of the actual election? But the one that really got me, I think it was the previous year, the entire voter turnout was I take it back. I think it was a little bit more, but the winning candidate had 200 votes.
Yeah.
So it was like, 300 maybe voted total or something like that.
Right. Well, that's what he was just saying. He won with 200 votes.
Right.
Won him the election.
Yeah. And I started looking at that, and I was thinking, man, most people have like 200 friends in town.
Oh, yeah. I've said that.
So
Yeah, you can have all of these friends, but if they won't get off the truck,
Exactly.
vote,
Exactly. No.
I know. The year that I lost, I went to the Lions Club talking to them, and they said, "Oh, Wayne, don't worry about it. You've got it made. You'll win it. There's no question about that." I said, "If you don't vote, I won't."
Yeah.
And that was the year I lost by 7 votes. That the folks that they said, "You got it made. You got it made." So I don't.
I'd have went back to the Lions Club and turned the tables upside down. I know there's 7 people in there that could have voted.
I talked to several of them.
I bet you
Yeah.
did. John, when you graduated way back when, how many people were in your graduating class?
Well, they
would you
hadn't
say?
developed double digits yet when he was in
Man,
school.
I don't even
so.
know. I don't remember. We were at the football field, so it wasn't too many.
No, not this football field,
No, we were at the original high school football field,
which was
behind the high school.
Don Floyd Stadium, which
Yeah.
was by the high school.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
It's like the practice field
No,
now.
that was later. That was later.
What was it?
Well, the football field was behind the high school and the elementary school. There was 3 buildings, brick buildings.
Yeah, it's where the new school is sitting now,
Yeah.
but it was just
Is that where the tennis courts and the baseball fields are?
No.
No.
It's where J.R. Irving was before
Yes.
they moved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That was my senior year. I was going to school there, but my senior year we spent the first semester in the gymnasium
Oh,
because
okay.
they were building the building.
And now that's the old, what they call the old gym that's been restored now?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I watched that be built.
Oh, yeah. Wow, okay.
So, well, let me ask you. Do you remember how many were in your graduating class?
Yeah, there's 24 of us.
24.
You keep in touch with any of them?
Yeah, matter of fact, we've had a class reunion every year since we graduated, and the last 35 years it's been at my house.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Wow.
I feel like you could have that class reunion just at a local restaurant,
Well, you could, 24.
but at your house.
or you can have
yeah.
a barbecue at Wayne's house.
Yeah,
It'd be better.
Everybody's still around?
Well, no, but we got this year we had, I think 7 showed up,
Well,
but we know of others that are living,
right.
and I was the youngest in the class.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's
but
neat.
it's quite different now.
Yeah.
So, what's going on at City Hall these days? I've been gone out of town for a couple weeks, so I feel out of touch. I mean, Tim, you,
Rob
Mr. Sibley,
Rob is a world traveler, and so
I don't know about world, but
I did all the traveling I wanted when I was employed.
yeah.
So
So I saw that Justin, Mr. Kaufman, got sworn in as mayor, and what's going on?
Well,
Mike Rogers got sworn in,
Yeah,
Ed Gardner.
and Ed got sworn in.
yeah. And then City Hall, they everything.
Broke ground City Hall. They've already moved the construction fences a couple times. They've
Broke
got
ground police station.
Police station.
Yeah, before you know, the construction state fence is going to be all the way in Waxahachie. I mean, they keep pushing it further and further and further.
Yeah.
Do they really need all that room?
Yeah, and the police station, they announced today that they've closed the
8th Street entrance.
The 8th Street entrance, which is the entrance that most people used.
Right.
So you have to enter the police station / courthouse / jail / whatever else that they do over there, from the access road.
Yeah.
They're going to push that to Cedar Hill pretty soon.
Probably, yeah.
So with all that going on, Mr. Sibley, you coming into... Now, I'm going to say this because I heard you say it last time you were on the show, that this may be your final term if you may not run again in 3 years.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But you might.
But I might.
But you might.
No promises. No promises.
I mean, I've said several times, this is my last time, and then had enough people say, no, you need to go run again.
You're like Tom Brady.
We need some common sense on the council, so you got to run.
And that's understandable. So with everything that's going on with our city, the growth of the city hall, these housing developments, what's just some things that keep you around that you just want to ensure goes right, or what loose ends that you...
Well, I've seen a lot of things happen since I've been on council.
I'm sure, and I want to hear about those.
The first major thing was the bypass, 287 bypass.
Yeah.
More watch people move gravel, dig ditches. I mean, they really got at it quick.
Well,
But
so for a lot of our listeners, we have literally dozens of listeners, but for our listeners, they may not even know what that is. For the people who don't know what that is, when you come south on 287 from Mansfield, Fort Worth, you sail all the way through town, go up the hill, past Harvest Hill Church and Discount Tire, and just keep going on Waxahachie. Right. You used to basically take the route of 9th Street, Main Street, like that was the road through town. So you had to drive through the middle of Midlothian to get from Fort Worth to Waxahachie. And
Midlothian was considered a stop.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Traffic, especially truckers.
Yeah.
And of course, the folks in Midlothian didn't like it either because Main Street.
Oh, it was busy.
It was just stop and go all.
Yeah, and then the train came through, and
train came through and stopped everything.
Yeah, right there by Branded Yeah, you had the intersection. You had a whole intersection with a stoplight and a train crossing. So, yeah, and that impeded all the traffic in between. Ennis and Waxahachie and Fort Worth.
Yeah, so the bypass, that was obviously something big, and then
that was the biggest thing for me right off.
Yeah,
and then the next thing I guess big would be a Walmart. People say we don't want a Walmart in Midlothian. You can go 10 miles in any direction and find a Walmart, so we don't need one in Midlothian. And my response to that was, hey, we didn't go looking for Walmart. Walmart came to Midlothian and says, we want to put a store in your town. Well, we gave them 21 items they had to meet in order to put it in. Got 20 pretty quick. The final item came in when they came to the council for final approval. And that was, they wanted 16,000 square feet of outside sales. We told them we'd give them 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that 6 had to be inside a chain link fence with locks on it. And the post had to be in concrete.
The garden center, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the head guy says, I can solve this Robert Wallows right now. Just take all that paragraph out of the contract and put, we will have 0 outside sales. Okay, we bought it.
All right.
So they put the garden center indoors.
So they put the garden
like
center
an atrium type.
Well, instead of in the parking lot like all the rest of them have, with all the trash going everywhere.
Well, we do have a nice Walmart.
I was going to say, I do not love Walmart in any way, shape, or form, but we have a nice Walmart. It looks nice on the outside, and when we came to town, shopping at that Walmart was head and shoulders above.
I've got to tell you a story on that.
Yeah.
One day I was out there to get something. Wife's in the car. She called me and said, you need to come out here? An elderly couple has got locked the keys in the car and needs some help.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had a Slim Jim in my car. I was going to pop it open. I didn't. But I went down to Love's and borrowed one and came back up there and opened the car for him. And You ask them where they're from, and I can't think no. It's in West Texas, anyway.
Well, I'm still stuck on that. Our city councilman's so good with the Slim Jim. But go on.
Well, it's because he was fire chief, weren't you?
Yeah, and I've got 26 years in law enforcement.
Yeah, he has to know that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was way out. I asked him, "What are you doing out here? You got family here?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, what? Why are you come to Midlothian?" He said, "Well, we live out in the country out there, and we make a shopping list. And once a month, we go to town and buy everything we need. And we go to Walmart in Midlothian to buy everything we need."
Okay.
So, that sold the idea that we needed a Walmart.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, "You must pass a half a dozen Walmarts to get here." He said, "Yeah, but this is the only one that has everything we need."
Wow.
Yeah. It is nice, and it is a big Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went in it the other day, as a matter of fact. I haven't been in a while. And the shelves are stocked, and they were stocking even more. So it's...
it's been redesigned or
maybe
remodeled recently. So.
Maybe it's recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So it's...
Something's got to.
Yeah, it's great. And then, of course, when the next big thing, I guess, was Kroger when they put in. That just blew my mind, because they came in and says, we want to do this. Here's the plan we want.
Mm-hmm.
And there's about, 50 or 100 houses that's got to go for this project. And he met with all the homeowners one night. He told them what he wanted to do. And he says, and I'm going to make you one-time offer. I'm going to give you 150% of the appraised value of your property. All but two of them said, "Where do we sign?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it went, well, you see what he does now.
Well,
Yeah.
what year was that?
That one, I don't know. It's been about 6 years ago.
I was going to say,
Because
yeah,
that
that's
was
been
before
since-
the big boom. So, to be
Well-
honest with you, Kroger came in at the right time.
That was probably 2018, something like that.
Because honestly, those people, hindsight's 2020. I mean, it is what it is. But a lot of people's home values went up 200%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Since then, yeah.
But who knows? A profit's a profit, and I tell you what, it.
Well, and you look at what's going on in Midlothian, right across the highway from Kroger's.
Mm-hmm.
HEB owns all that property.
Yep.
Yeah.
They bought it to build before the bypass was finished.
Yeah.
So that's how long they've had
Been
it.
sitting on it.
But they're well known for sitting on property for decades.
They're
And I'm
yes,
still
they are.
hopeful that we're going to get a central market there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look at all that's going in that Kroger complex.
Yes.
Well, we're not going to get.
ate lunch over
Kroger
there.
was approved in 2017, by the way.
Okay.
So-
But we're not going to get an HEB because they're putting the brand new HEB in Mansfield. They're refurbishing the one in
Right,
Waxahachie.
which is-
But it's central.
That's why I'm hoping a central
Midlothian
market
is
will come into
perfect for the
Midlothian.
central market
Yeah.
because of our demographics here.
Yeah.
Central market fits
Our
here.
median income is
That's what I'm
way
saying.
higher than the surrounding cities.
Exactly. So our
So
central market fits in Midlothian.
I drive
better
all the
than
way
it
to
does.
I drive all the way to Fort Worth to go to Central Market. I do that a couple times a month. I don't even buy a ton of groceries there, but you go there and they've got great food that you can eat there. So I'll go there and I'll have dinner, and they've got live music sometimes.
It's a good store.
Yeah,
for sure.
my at least
Never
one of
been.
my kids enjoys going because they have a little thing at the front just where kids can take some fruit, and so we'll go through and if you've ever walked through their store, they've got like the where they make the bread and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's crazy. It's an amazing store. I
So-
mean, it's not cheap,
Yeah.
but it's amazing.
And this is a good place for it.
It is a good place.
This is a good
Yeah.
place for it.
But
we don't, we get a lot of things. People that our companies want consideration from Midlothian, and it goes through our A board that a lot of stuff. It's all confidential.
Yeah.
You can't tell it about it. And they came in and said this company came in, and every time they came in to the council meeting, executive session, it was a different name.
Yeah.
What is it? Well, finally they got to work out a deal, and we approved, and they came in, and this lady came in to present it. She said, "I guess you wonder who we are." She says, "We're Google,
Oh, wow.
and we're looking at putting 5 or 10 phases in Midlothian. Each phase is valued at $500 million.
Yeah, half a billion dollars.
Yeah,
So that's $5 billion.
How many have they put in so far?
Two.
Okay.
I mean
So they're going to have
they-
that whole property over there,
they
basically.
put one
A
in.
lot of
and
it, yeah.
They put one in, and before they got through with it, they started working on the second one. They've got the second one completed now.
Now,
Yeah.
these are just data collection centers,
Right.
right?
There's very few people there. They're considered, I work in that industry, and they're called lights out data centers, meaning that there's very few people there, so they don't even run the lights to save electricity. So it's just all dark, air conditioned, automated servers.
I think they said about
Compute
30
power.
people
Yeah.
will be working there.
Yeah. I
But
heard
that's-
like 50, and that might be between
but
the
that's
two.
just a piece.
Yeah.
How many people did it take to build that thing?
Right. Well, so
Where's their money going to in Midlothian?
yeah, not just that, but a lot of people complain about the tax abatements. All right, but I don't think they understand the tax abatements.
I'm sure they don't.
The tax abatements, like the city has given Google some abatements, which means that they don't have to pay some of the taxes they would normally pay. And
Correct.
that was to get them here. Okay. Well, what these people don't understand is, I assume that they understand that without those abatements, Google would have just gone somewhere else.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't have had that at all. Okay. The tax abatements end after they actually decline, I believe, and they end completely
It's whatever
after 10
you
years.
negotiate with the
Usually-
city,
But
right?
here's the thing.
Usually 10 years is maximum.
Here's
Yeah.
here's the
We won't
kicker.
give any abatement.
Yeah, here's the kicker though. For people who live here in Midlothian, who is the biggest taxing entity?
The school.
The school. There are no tax abatements for the school. Google has been paying 100% of their school tax from day one. So all these people are like, oh, they're not paying their fair share. I'm like, come on. How much school tax do you think you're paying on $500 billion? Oh, twice. Yeah. So
then they could build a new school.
yeah.
Have they?
Well, they've paid
They
for a
could.
lot of our M&O for sure.
Why are we having all these bond elections if Google is paying so much taxes?
Because we live in Texas, and that's how you have to build buildings.
You have to.
Yeah. Like the tax money goes mostly to the M&O fund. So that's like salaries and maintenance and
Right.
Well, M&O is maintenance
Maintenance
operation,
operation.
but it also pays for salaries and things like that. Which is why it's so important to get these bonds passed when we need new schools, because otherwise they're taking money out of the salary budget, the maintenance budget, and everything to buy portables, or they're just overcrowding classrooms.
Right. So back to like the Kroger and the Walmart. When something like that happens, how much work is it for you guys? I mean,
Quite a bit.
I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But
for the council, not that much, but for the staff.
right. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's multiple, getting things together to present you guys. You guys, I mean, you got to kind of know your stuff to
Yeah.
do these big projects like that. It's not like, hey, can I get a pass from a fence or
Well, I'll tell you, I got to tell another story. I hate to.
No, we want your stories.
Yeah, but
We love them.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna give it to you. If I can remember what it is now, you interrupted me.
That's nothing new.
Which one? What we're talking about?
We were talking about how much work's involved with the city count
When you have the
with
big
the big
projects.
projects.
Okay, budgeting.
Right.
That's the big thing. When first time I got on the council, city manager told me, he says, Wayne, you'll enjoy this. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work too. But when we do the budget, it's really bad. It's hard. I said, why? He said, because we got such a big budget. And I said, how much is our budget? He said, $11 million. I said, $11 million. He said, yeah, I know it's a lot of money to deal with. And I said, well, let me put it this way. My portion of the public safety budget at DFW Airport was $15 million, and that didn't even count on the fire truck, $5 million fire truck in the maintenance budget. So I think I can deal with this $11 million budget. He said, okay,
Right.
good. The first meeting after that, I found out what he was talking about. One council member was up in arms because Public Works needed to buy new shovels, hoes, and rakes every year. And I said, now I know why budgeting is a problem. That's micromanaging to the nth degree.
Yeah, it's the micromanagement.
And, we've been having some problems, not that bad, but
Yeah.
they won't.
Here lately?
The way I see my job in all the council, we hire a city manager that knows what he's doing, and that city manager is going to run the city. And the council responsibility for that is not to run the city. It's our responsibility to see that he gets the resources necessary to run the city. And we got too many people want to tell him how to run the city,
Right.
which they don't know squat about running the city. So
Well, sometimes you get councilmen trying to tell them how to
So-
run the
so
city.
that's what I'm talking about.
So are we saying Chris Dick is the most powerful person in Midlothian?
Well,
Oh,
he's the CEO of Midlothian.
he's the
like
CEO.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's the best thing we've had. I've been through 3 city managers,
Wow.
and he is by far the best. He's not most knowledgeable and fair and everything you can say plus Chris is. We've got a super staff in the city right now.
Yeah.
I'll put my staff up against any cities around. I think overall our staff, all staff is top notch, and I hope the citizens realize that.
How does one become a city manager?
You go to school first,
Yeah.
and in Chris's place, he worked several years in Mansfield as a director of finance. Then he moved to Midlothian as director of finance, and we promoted him from director of finance to city manager.
Gotcha.
And
You gotta be a smart guy.
he is.
Is that Thunder?
It is.
And the city manager, he will hire the chief of police.
Yes.
Yeah. Among other.
Yeah, he hires all the staff, or he hires the top echelon of staff, and then he brings it to us for approval.
Gotcha.
And that's what's worked out. Like our police chief, we had him for about 15 years, I think now.
He's the CEO. You guys are the board of directors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And like I say, the board should not be trying to run the city.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
I think Chris does a good job, and we need to let him alone so he can do his job instead of wasting his time. Now I go meet with him once a week, or every 2 weeks. I meet with him the evening before council meeting, and go over the council.
Is that something
with
just
him.
you do, or is that pretty typical for the other council members as well?
Well, I've been doing it ever since I've been on the council,
Okay. Yeah.
and every once in a while somebody else will do that, and others have meetings. It also, but I just do it the day before, and
Okay.
and what it's about is not for me to make a decision what I want to do, but for me to make a decision that I understand what's being presented.
Gotcha.
And many times I'll ask him questions that he doesn't have the answers for, and he will either find them before I leave, or he will have it for the meeting the next night.
Well, there are definitely, I don't know, and maybe you'll disagree with me here, but sometimes it feels like there are two groups of council people. They're the ones that I'll say do their homework. You get those huge packets, and some of the ones I've talked to personally, they read through the entire packet, or at least they've figured out how to get through the whole
I
packet
remember
quickly.
Justin saying that when he was first elected, he got his packet and he stayed up all night reading it because he thought he had to read every line he said,
Yeah.
obviously, as you become more experienced as a councilman, you learn how to save time.
You're learning that this is what's important for you to know.
Yeah.
Right.
And the rest of it is support information.
Correct.
But they're doing their home. So even if you're just breezing through it quickly,
You're doing your
you know
homework.
what to look for, and you
Right.
show up knowing about the subject beforehand. So when it's time for discussion, you have maybe an opinion or some thoughts on it, and you're getting to listen to other people speak about it, with a perspective. And then maybe you have other council people that show up, and maybe there are some on the council now. There's definitely been some in the past where they don't read the packets, they don't know about even what's on the agenda, and the only thing that they learn on what they're about to vote for is right there from the few people who speak. So
a good example was one night, a guy came in and presented. He wanted a billboard.
Oh yes,
Electronic
billboard. Yes,
And he was giving all the reasons why, what's going to be put on there, and who's going to authorize it and all. And there was an awful lot of discussion, and to me, there really wasn't anything to discuss. Our code says we do not allow billboards.
Right.
Period. And he wants to build one this big, and we say anything we have will be this big. Everything he asked for was against our codes.
Right.
And I can't understand. It was three council members that were pushing to prove this. And it was against everything we have.
It got tabled at first. Whatever happened with that?
It got rejected.
It got rejected. Okay. But now it had been rejected several times before,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. After you
the
read
same
it-
guy keeps
Yeah,
coming.
I mean,
back.
Isn't that the one where they were? It's like no, and then he was going to put it higher.
Yeah,
or-
it's
or-
yeah.
No,
it's,
he's going
it's,
to put it lower. He
Yeah.
wanted it up here, and
Okay.
it's they're on 67 across
Right.
from where the lighthouse is.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of across 9th from the police station.
there was billboards outlawed years ago. That was one of the first things. I was on council. I've talked about billboards. When I go somewhere on the highway, I look for billboards. So we'll put signs up, but 50 feet is maximum.
I think unless it's Buc-ee's billboards, I think we really don't need them.
Well,
Well,
I need to know where the next Buc-ee's is when I'm
Yeah.
on the road.
yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's really funny how that is. We annexed an area that had a billboard, and the first thing they wanted to do to make us to make them take the billboard down. It was okay while they were not in the city, but now that they're in the city, you want that billboard taken down.
yeah.
Well, you can't. We don't do that.
Yeah.
They were annexed, and the billboard was there, so
The billboard's annexed
it
too.
can stay. Yeah,
Yeah.
It can stay because that was part of the
Yeah.
grandfather clause of the
Right.
annexation.
Well, Wayne, over the course of your tenure, I mean, you've obviously sacrificed personally, your time, your effort. I'm sure some things have been pretty stressful, and we all appreciate that you're willing to serve the city like that. Is there any particular thing that you felt has moved the needle in Midlothian that you're particularly proud of that you'd like to talk about before we wrap up?
Well, the main thing I got to say, I want to thank the citizens of Midlothian for giving me the opportunity to serve them over all these years, and I hope they'll do that again
Okay.
in this runoff.
Here comes that rain again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Sibley, it's the rain's coming down, so I don't want to
You wanna
diminish
put
the quality
you gonna put
of.
me out in the rain. I know.
Nope, not going to do that. We'll sit here and we'll talk all night. But, it's been a pleasure having you twice now on this show. It's an honor. And, Tim, I'm off my game. Voting. When are we voting? Last days?
This Saturday. What is the date this Saturday?
10,
It's the 10th. Okay.
7 to 7.
7 to 7 this Saturday. Most people go to the conference center. If you don't go to the conference center, you know where you go. But just come to the conference center, cast a vote for either Wayne Sibley or Alan Moorman. This is your last chance to have input on who helps make decisions for the city for the next 3 years.
Come on out. There won't be any barbecue this time, but I did see you at the barbecue, at my barbecue tent there at the conference center. So, anyways,
Yeah,
Midlothian,
I appreciated that.
it was fun. It was a great time. Every candidate was eating. It didn't matter if you was running against the guy. Everybody was eating together.
Yeah.
And
Everybody but the vote no people. They did not
everybody
show
but
up.
the vote no people. But other than that,
Yeah, Alan.
Mormon.
was eating with
Yep,
me.
McKeever, Mormon. You had Mike and Walter next to each other. It was beautiful. Midlothian. We're gonna wrap up because we're about to get rained on again. But we love you. Kid Rob's back. We're out of here.
We're out.